Well, there it is. I'm talking about 444. I got a little bit excited 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes ago when I saw the email from Microsoft about my Hotmail account that disappeared yesterday. And I went through and answered all their questions and put yet another password in. And then when I logged on, it wasn't the old one with the couple thousand or more, way more than a couple thousand, with all the emails that were in it, the R. Thomas Hotmail account. It was the Ron Thomas email account that it opened up to, which only has the welcoming one. It was the new account that I woke up that I created yesterday morning when I couldn't log in to my normal account that I had left open the night before, and it required a password even though I didn't close it. It still required a password. So I'm confused at what Microsoft is doing. Maybe I had too many emails in it in too short a time and they just don't want to allow that. I don't know, but it was weird. Anyway, again, that's not what I planned to talk about this morning. The title that I selected was Visualizing Victory on 11/11. And I wrote, it wasn't even 1 a.m. yet, and there I was, wide awake and feeling a rush of highly positive energy. It felt as if the cells in my body were dancing, and I felt amazing joyfulness. Even though I tried to get back to sleep, the feeling of euphoria kept me awake until nearly 3 a.m. at least. I even visualized dancing in the streets at one point, sensing a celebration of victory as people danced like my cells seemed to dance earlier. I finally fell back to sleep for a short while, and now I'm awake and up to do today's video that I will call Visualizing Victory. It is 9/11, you know. Indeed it is, and I will be meditating at various times throughout the day and recognizing the fact that I'm connecting with thousands upon thousands of other people around the planet that have also committed themselves to visualizing victory and visualizing world peace and visualizing the celebration caused by the awakening of humanity. I know we're still a relatively small amount in comparison to the total population of the planet. Nevertheless, it is a significant amount that has the capability of shifting the whole thing. But let me get back to me waking up last night between midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning and just feeling this rush. I mean, it was almost like I was being downloaded with positive energy. I mean, I don't know if anybody else experienced something similar, but it was when 11/11 first started in my time zone that the very first hour that I experienced this, and it was probably 2 to 3 hours that I laid there in this rush of energy, even though I fought it somewhat because I did want to get back to sleep. I didn't want to lay awake. I debated getting up and doing my video earlier, but I did finally fall asleep probably sometime around 3. Then I woke up going on 4 o'clock and actually didn't get out of bed till like 10 after 4, quarter after 4, sometime in that range. And I quick wrote the blurb and uh, then I started to see if I check my email, which is what I referred to early on in this video. Anyway, there have been organized around the world a lot of celebration times and meditation times for today, being another 11/11. I remember last year that I thought we were going to complete the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th wave, or I guess the 11th, 12th, and 13th wave, all on the 11/11/11 date. And this is 1 year later, and are we going to be dancing soon? is something going to happen between now and the date that's on a lot of people's minds? I know some people say, quit thinking about dates, and I'd like to, but it creates an anticipation, and I think that isn't altogether bad. Although we have been disappointed many times because things didn't happen by the date that we thought they were going to happen. Nevertheless, the continued anticipation does build and is building in humanity, which is what I think I was, at least part of what I was feeling last night as I felt this energy that was coming in. And again, it began with almost like a tingling sensation in my body. And it felt like my body was going through some kind of a healing process of some sort. And then as I realized it was the early hour, the first hour of the 11:11, and I realized that people were probably already starting to meditate in different parts of the world, and I was thinking that, well, maybe you're tapping into that energy that's already starting on other parts of the world, and it isn't when you said you were going to do it. I was going to do it at 11 a.m. was one of the times that I'm going to try to be focused in on connecting with people. But there I was, focused in the first couple or 3 hours of the morning, when I wanted to be sleeping. And I'm going to go back to sleep. You better believe I'm going to go back to bed as soon as I have everything uploaded and everything today with today's video. But I think the anticipation that something major is happening is important for us. It's important for me to get these feelings. I don't always feel this high. Even though I feel tired right now and I want to go back to sleep, there's still a sense that something did happen during that period when I laid awake last night. Something did happen and was happening beyond me. It wasn't just happening for me. It was happening for lots of people around the world. And as you listen, maybe it didn't happen. Maybe you didn't have the great sensations that I had. But spend time recognizing that the cry of your heart is also the cry of hearts around the world. As we want to establish justice on earth, which is the prelude to peace. And it's a justice with mercy. It's a justice with forgiveness. It's a justice that's filled with love and willingness to let people's path be whatever it has been, and know that the flame of freedom, the radiance of the loving heart, is in each of them, even the so-called dark workers. Look, it's taken all of us to get here. We didn't just do it with people imagining light, but we did it with people being willing to explore the dark caves of our own human existence, to go into the shadows, to go in to the negative emotions, the hurt, the pain, the suffering, to go into that and to heal it by accepting, okay, this is part of the process. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to try to get away from it. I'm going to embrace myself in it and embrace this as a divine visitor that's coming to help me connect with parts of myself that I've disconnected from in the past, and connect with other people around the planet that are crying out for love, that are crying out to stop the pain and end the war inside and outside. This is what we want, isn't it? It's what I want. And I want my body to be fully restored and rejuvenated I want the little bit of ache and pain that I have to feel to stop having to feel that pain, because there's a sense of wellness and not a sense of dis-ease and uneasiness, but a sense that love is strong enough to take away all of the lessons that we've learned, which are parts of ourselves perhaps crying out to be loved. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. And I'd like to invite you to see it that way too, or at least consider it. That we can change the world by changing our own attitude toward the parts of ourselves that don't feel so wonderful and haven't felt so gloriously euphoric. That we allow the love to be there even in the pain, and transform and transmute the suffering that we've all experienced at one point and in one way or another. We've all experienced it. We've all been there. Recognize that we're interconnected. Recognize that we're not separate from anyone, even though we'd like to be, or even though we thought we were. Recognize that there is a unity of spirit. That there is one creator and one ultimate creation. And let the dance happen. Let the celebration begin. Visualize victory. I think if we do this, and enough of us do it, it will impact the world events. It will help change the reality, if you will, that we experience together as humans. And we will rise to a higher level of experience and of being truly in the light of love, truly able to laugh with joy and to dance together, even as my cells were dancing together. You know, one of the things that just came to me, one of the thoughts that I had as I laid there, when I used to study magnetohydrodynamics, the technology of applying magnetic fields, highly focused magnetic fields, to water moving with velocity through a narrow opening. I want to say Ventura, but I'm thinking of Jesse Ventura when I think that. But anyway, I don't know if that's the right word or not. But moving through that slit where there's a magnetic field going across, what it does is it raises the shell of the electrons in the calcium carbonate predominantly, but the mineral content that's in the water. It raises the vibration, and it gets the atoms and the molecules in an excitable state where they don't clump together and form scale on heat transfer surfaces and other surfaces of the pipe and everything else in that system. And that's what I think is maybe happening, and I thought this last night, what's happening in our world. It's almost like some of us are electrons, and we're going to a higher level. And it's a state of excitement. And it doesn't allow, it actually breaks down the clogging that takes place in the lower frequencies, in the lower vibration. Is this what ascension is about? I had that thought last night, and I certainly was feeling some kind of a feeling that felt really, really, really good, that I'm not feeling in this exact moment because of the tiredness, because I really only had a short nap. It might have not even been an hour that I actually slept before I got, in fact, I don't even think it was an hour. I think it was more like maybe 30 to 40 minutes that I actually slept. Of course, I had slept a couple of hours before I woke up, but Anyway, I bless you this morning. As I'm pondering, I invite you to ponder. I invite you to connect with those of us that will be meditating at various times throughout the day. And be thankful that this part of the drama is coming to a close, whether it happens by December 21st or not, or 12/12 or some other time in the very near future, whether it happens this year or early next year. Whenever it happens, something is happening. Visualize that victory because it's ours. Thank you for listening, and namaste.